Morning guys, welcome to another video. Quite a few of you have asked me how I balance everything that I do, in inverted commas, so I thought I'd just show you. Got to go to the shop this morning, first thing, and then drop off some washing, sort out a bit of cash and a couple of other key bits. Then it's blood test time, because for those of you that have watched from the beginning, Andy has pretty dicky health, so Marlin's out, people. And then up to Doncaster, to the business that I'm the exec director of. I started there a few weeks ago. It's called NCM Auctions, and going up there for a few meetings today as we start to look at the structure of the business, because they're going through a real exciting period in their time, and they're on the growth trajectory, so they've asked me to come in and not steer the ship. There's a brilliant CEO and founder there, I suppose, give some kind of advice, I hate the word, some strategic viewpoints, and is the best route forward. So doing a bit of that, so I thought I'd bring you on the journey with me today.
After that, you're then looking at, can they mould, can they get enough?
So yeah, I thought we could talk a little bit about your time management today, because essentially that's what facilitates me being able to do all the bits that I do, where I have a few clients, the shop that hopefully becomes shops, and then, as I said earlier in the video, the exec director at NCM. But really, it's about compartmentalising. I'm lucky enough that I suppose the people I work with allow me to work patterns that aren't set, that work around me. I commit a certain amount of time to a client or a company, and I balance it that way. But in terms of my work, I try to separate my life into home life and work life. So I do a fair few shifts at the shop. Don't necessarily have to, but I like to, because I can keep my eye on what's going on, and if we're going to expand, I really want to know that business inside out, like I have with all the other roles I've ever had. And obviously the companies I have been running are far larger than the shop, but also it gives me time to do other work. It allows me to look through the finances of the businesses I'm working with. I do a lot of conference calls and Zoom calls, and then I try and also make sure that I have a day at least off a week, just at home with the kids, and a few evenings. And then really I tend to use one of my days off a week to go to one of the clients if it's needed. And again, it's just time management. I make sure that I allow time to do each thing to the best of my ability. And there's been times where you sign yourself up for too many things, and I think it's easy to say, but I'm not led by money. And it's very easy when you're consulting and working with other companies to think, oh, if I do this job I get X amount per day. For me, the only reason people approach me and want me to work with them is because I do a good job, hopefully a great job for them. But in order to do that, I have to give myself the time to do a great job for them. And if you find yourself chasing paychecks, which some people do, it's volume rather than quality in their mind. Actually, you churn through clients much quicker, and you just don't do a good enough job. Whereas for me, I would like to be at a point where my reputation precedes me, and once the world, if we ever get back there, becomes slightly more normal, I'd like to think that I can go back to doing the public speaking, which I've really enjoyed, and is obviously more manageable time-wise, amongst other things. But in terms of time management, here's a few hints, tips, bits along the way that I've learned. First one, diary management, key. Basically create yourself a rota. Even if you're the only person on the rota, get yourself a rota. Work out where you need to be on what days and structure yourself that way. diarise your calls, diarise your meetings, and give everything that you're doing the respect of allowing time for it. Do not just crash through days thinking you can get through them, because things will back up against you and you will not do a quality job, and the people that are relying on you will not get the time they need, and essentially your performance, your output will suffer, as will people's view of you and the quality of the work that you do. Second one, everyone's got their own way of doing things. I'm not really a handwritten diary guy. I did it for a number of years, but I find it just became another thing to do. What I tend to do is I text myself. I have 2 phones, one work, one not, and I text myself the things that I've got to do, and then I diarise the super important things. So I send myself diary invites so that I know what I've got to do on any given day, whether that's a phone call, an appointment, or even if it's a piece of work, or even if one of the things I do quite a lot is if I have an idea, of which I have a lot, I will text or diarise myself to look into that, because I think hopefully, as you've seen in other videos, how I get where I get isn't just through having an idea and then on a wing and a prayer going through it. I quite like to be studious about things.
Yeah, we try and mould.
So here at the hospital before we head off to sunny Doncaster. So go get jabbed in the arm and then back with you in a minute. Guess who's back? Back again. Blood is taken. Let's go Doncaster. So team, we're here, sunny Doncaster. Let's get to some meetings. So there you go. Now with the offices, done a full day's work. It's gone 6 o'clock now, and then I'm going to start the drive home. Just dropping one of the lads off at Doncaster train station. Oh, good day, progress. It's always awesome being able to help clients that you really like love their business. I suppose not even a client now, I'm the exec director, like someone that you work with that you've gone back a long way with, and to see their company doing really well and to try and help shape that, it's awesome feeling, to be fair. Gonna pull in, get a bit of food, live life on the road dream, and then get back on the road and let's chat about some more time management. So time management, the third thing I'd say to remember is actually remember your time has a value. Comes at a cost. Whether you're talking about your personal life or your professional life, you have to put a value on this then, because you have only got X amount of hours a week, and work-life balance for me is critical. So if I'm doing something, it sure as shit better be worth doing for there to be a reason not to be at home with my wife and my kids. So for me, I put a huge amount of value on enjoyment. I know that sounds a bit wanky because you still got to pay your bills. The satisfaction of the job you're doing really does take over, because for me, if you're going to do something 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, which for me is working in whatever kind of guise or whichever business, you've got to like doing it, but put a value on your time. If you're going to book a phone call in, ensure it's worth it. If you're working 8 or 9 hours a day, and some of us 11 or 12, giving up an hour of that has to be worth it. These are like micro decisions, but they're the decisions that make you productive or unproductive. But in terms of your productivity as a manager, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, because the only person you're kidding if you don't value your time is yourself, because you have to give more and more of yourself. Working till 8 becomes working till 9, working till 9 becomes working till 10, all because you tried to do too much. It's quality, not quantity, particularly when it comes to your output. Look for variation in what you do. get processes, systems, or a way of working in place that allows you to maximise your output. So go where your impact can be most felt. And if you run yourself ragged, sign up for too many meetings, agree to too many calls, whatever it might be, you're not allowing yourself to give 100% to the stuff that you're best at. So don't ever allow yourself to be spread too thin. We all do it. It's an easy thing to say, a very hard thing to do in practice. But at least if you're cognizant of it, we all slip back into it, and you will slip back into it. However, make sure that you give yourself the time to deliver upon the things that you want to, where your impact can be most felt. And on that note, sorry I've not looked at the camera too much. Clearly, I've got to concentrate on the road. As always, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.